We're just a few days into round one of the NHL playoffs, and I can confirm that it does indeed still rock. But we do have a little bit of a problem. Only 2 series are even 2 games in, and one, Florida-Tampa, hasn't even started yet. So we're going to change the pace just a little bit here. Yes, we are going to talk about Monday night. It was incredible, but we are going to run with some longer playoff hockey trivia, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So without further ado, welcome to Top Shelf. I'm Aidan Thakkar with John Matisz, Kyle Cushman, and Levi Smith. And guys, last night was fantastic. Definitely the best night of round one so far, and it started off with a bang. It was the Habs Caps game. Montreal comes back late in the game. Ovi gets on the board twice. The first overtime winner in the playoffs for Alex Ovechkin.
Isn't that insane?
Which is that I don't think I was ready to hear. I just assumed that you'd have more. I'm actually surprised that he doesn't have more playoff goals in general. I guess he didn't have a lot of really long playoff runs, but it's he's sitting on like 80-something?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
Well, so Washington never made it to the conference finals before
they won.
And then they haven't been back, right?
Well, because they got
first
so
two-round
stuck
merchant
behind Pittsburgh for like a decade and a half, and then they finally got it done. I thought that game was really solid. I thought the Habs actually stayed in there better than I thought. The news like Martin Ferravari. I can't really say that name properly, but he's out for the rest of the playoffs. Which is
that's a tough blow.
Tough loss for the Caps. But I think that series is going to be really interesting. I think it's going to be a lot of close games. I'm interested to see how Montreal can kind of battle with it.
Yeah, it's really an interesting dynamic where you've got the trajectory of the Habs going up at the end of the season, and the Caps, especially the goaltending, was kind of going the other way, and it's been such a magical season in Washington, but some markers there of it not being totally sturdy at the end of the day, like some luck involved or guys just on these crazy hot streaks or going injury free until the end of the season. So I think when you combine those two things, it makes a more interesting, closer series than we maybe would have imagined going in. I thought the Habs went blow for blow with them pretty well in terms of scoring chances. The Caps are a bigger team. They're better along the walls and stuff like that. I think that will be a big factor in this series. But I was pretty impressed. And I don't know about you guys, but I thought it was cool to see Suzuki and Caulfield score for Montreal because there's been so much attention on Hudson and Demidov and this whole great core that they're building there. Well, it's those are the 2 franchise pillars. Those are the guys with the great chemistry. They're sort of the veterans of the young core, and they provided some goals in game 1.
My favorite part of that whole game, I think, was Ovi laying out Caulfield, though, because that's awesome.
A couple big hits last night.
It also just makes me think of that Ovi's really taking it seriously. Obviously this year for him and the last few years has really been about chasing the goal record, but I think Ovi would love to win another Stanley Cup. Would love to go on he's been to the conference finals once. I think there's a real chance for Washington to go on a deep run.
You don't think that guy wants to jump in the pond and get drunk for a week straight again?
Would be fantastic. Another big hit though in the Jets-Blues game, Logan Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
That I saw someone, it might have been Jesse Pollock, said that it gave him the Dustin Byfuglien hit on Mark Stone vibes from years ago. But the Jets-Blues series, we're 2 games into it now. Obviously, I think the Jets have looked good offensively. Connor Hellebuck, definitely a better performance last night than in game 1. But what do you guys think about that series 2 games in?
I mean, for me, it comes down to the high danger area. If you look at it after 2 games, Winnipeg has 20 high danger shot attempts. The other team has 7. So that's a big discrepancy. St. Louis is having trouble getting to the net front. Winnipeg is having no problem. And it's being driven by Mark Scheifele, who I wouldn't say, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think of him as a power forward or a guy who necessarily drives a net a ton, especially in the regular season. But he's been on one to start this playoffs. And obviously he's got this great connection with Kyle Connor, who has such a great ability to get lost in the offensive zone. And they've been working back and forth. That line, those 2 with Iafallo, have directly contributed 7 out of, 5 out of 7 goals for? Yeah, 7. 5 out of 7 goals for Winnipeg so far. So that, to me, is the story of the series. That top line mixed with Winnipeg's overall emphasis on getting pucks to the slot area and, also protecting their own in their own end.
And Iafallo's been great on that top line there as a guy that has primarily played on the 4th line since arriving in Winnipeg in the Dubois trade, kind of the afterthought addition in that trade. But Velarde's out of the lineup, Ehlers is out of the lineup, so you got to have somebody step up into that role in the top 6, and Iafallo has looked great on that top line to the point where when you get Ehlers and Velarde back, do you go away from that, or do you see what you can do in terms of your middle six now with Iafallo stepping up there? So he's been a real big piece to help bring that line all together, where Velarde being out of the lineup could have really shaken things up early in the series.
I think I'm really impressed with Scheifele, though, still, just on that point, because I feel like he's taken a lot of crap throughout his career for being a important game guy that disappears a little bit. And obviously Kyle Connor disappeared at the Four Nations, and he had that kind of going his way. But I mean, this is the same Mark Scheifele who took out, was it Jake Evans?
Jake Evans,
and, that's the last playoff. That's the only thing kind of memory of Scheifele I have.
Pretty much
of playoff hockey.
Playoff related, yeah.
So I'm curious to see, he and Connor are really going to have to carry the load until Ehlers and Velarde, if they do get back on this run, and I think they will need them to get back for this run. Another two games in would be the Dallas-Colorado one, 1-1 there. Dallas really fighting without some of their top guys, Robertson and Heiskanen, but that series is awesome, and it is some of the best hockey, I think, so far.
Yeah, it really ramped up on Monday night with that Game 2 and the bit of a comeback for the Stars, and then obviously a fantastic overtime where, of all people, Colin Blackwell's the one to score the overtime winner, which is a great moment.
Leaf, man.
Exactly, Leaf legend, but a great moment for a guy that during his college career looked like he maybe was going to have to retire due to concussion issues, fights his way from an AHL contract to a depth role, gets in the Game 2 lineup, and has the big moment there for the Stars. And that was a must-win for Dallas. If you're 0-2 going back to Denver with probably Gabe Landeskog getting back in the lineup, hopefully for Game 3 here, we'll see, that's probably curtains for the Stars. And instead, they go through and they get that win. And the big factor for me in Game 2 was a mid-game switch by Peter DeBoer, where they switched Dodonov and Rantanen in the lineup. And after that
finish
switch,
line, right?
Yeah, exactly. They switched that, and particularly the Johnston, Benn, and Dodonov line completely took over the game in kind of the third period onwards. The scoring chances were 7-0 with that line on the ice once they made that switch. Shot attempts were something like 15-6, almost 100% expected goals for, and of course Dodonov has the game tying goal there in the third period. So we'll probably see that line going forward the rest of the series as well. You mentioned the finish line as well, getting some of that chemistry going as well. We talk about Robertson being out of the lineup, Heiskanen out of the lineup. How can you survive in those moments early in a series without those guys? If you hopefully get them back later in a series, you need guys like Evgeny Dodonov to step up in those moments, and that's what they got in Game 2 there. It still feels like it's Colorado series to lose just with the injuries and all of that going on, and Dallas particularly having some trouble moving the puck on the back end. But as that Game 2 went along, and when they made some lineup changes as that game went along, the Stars started to figure some things out. And if they can carry that momentum into Denver for Game 3 here, might be a bit more of a series than it looked like it was going to be in Game 1.
That offensive group in Dallas is just fantastic. Even missing Jason Robertson is just incredible. They got 3 first, second lines, basically, they're looking at.
Credit to, I want to say quickly, credit to Dallas, because they were rolling all 4 lines in OT, and you could tell, I think, on the Avs side, McKinnon and those guys started to slow down because they were a little bit hesitant to put the fourth line guys out there. But, I mean, they got the goal with Blackwell, and Back was playing like a lead out there. And having all those good forwards and still getting that fourth line some shifts is an enormous difference maker, especially in overtime.
I think it'll be big for Colorado to eventually get Landeskog back. I think part of it was get him on the ice last night and then get him ready for maybe Game 3 or 4 where they got the last change in his first game, kind of shelter him a little bit.
And the return being on home ice is so much better.
It's been so long. It's your captain. You've been missing him. It's going to be emotional for everyone.
But I was actually looking up this morning. If he plays Game 3, it'll be 1,097 days since he played a hockey game. That's wild.
Insane.
And for him to be the captain of the team, the leader, the sort of I think he's the longest tenured player. It's really going to be quite the moment. And I do wonder, he takes warm-up in Game 2. Was it sort of the plan was always for him to come back on home ice, and that was sort of just for him to feel the atmosphere of the building? I don't know. Or maybe he was close to coming back and just couldn't do it. But I'm still, in my head, I'm still thinking this is Colorado's series as far as when I watch these games, it's okay, McKinnon and Makar versus that slow Dallas defense is one thing. But you've got, Logan O'Connor is super fast, Ross Colton, Jack Drury,
Miles Wood's burning it up.
Miles Wood, this isn't just, don't have Lyubushkin or Ceci out against McKinnon. It's the speed advantage the speed gap, I should say, between Colorado's forwards and Dallas's defensemen, aside from, Thomas Harley, is just so immense that I think that's gonna lead to an Avs win, even if, Dallas throws everything at them.
And to that point, we talk about the lineup changes that worked for the Stars. I wonder if we see Matisz and McKinnon go on different lines there, where two of the just absolute fastest players in the league, guys that can skate in a straight line and beat you, especially when you talk about a Dallas team that we talk about not having a lot of foot speed on the back end. Those two have been playing on a line together, which has worked to an extent. But if you split those two up, then you have the two burners on two different lines. Nichushkin probably up to the top line. Then you have Matisz on that second line with Brock Nelson and company. I think that could be a mix that makes a little bit more sense here going into Game 3 when you talk about the lineup changes that worked for the Stars. I'd like to see some proactive changes from the Colorado side as well.
How nasty was that Logan O'Connor goal? It was like a bicycle kick equivalent in soccer. I don't know if he meant to do it. Probably didn't mean to do it, but it was really cool.
One more series kicked off last night. That was the Oilers-Kings, and that was just the most classic Oilers Game 1 of a series of all time. Just like
what
electric
game.
comeback, and then just like knuckle puck beat Stuart Skinner. Just classic. And I don't know. I don't think that game is a huge indicator of how this series is going to go. We've seen the Oilers have weird burners to kick off playoff series before. Think back to that one against the Battle of Alberta, the 8-6 game or something like that it was. So, I think there's a lot you could take from that game, but I think my main takeaway was just that the Oilers' top dogs are ready to go. McDavid and Draisaitl looked really good. I want to ask you guys, though, just about some players that who have surprised you maybe, or who have just like shown up kind of thing, and are just like ready to rock. John, who stood out to you so far? Just a couple of days into the playoffs.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like surprising because he's been in the league so long and he's a star player, but John Tavares was so impactful in that Game 1 of Leaf Sens, and I don't know about you guys, but I think that broadcasts overrate face-offs and kind of focus on them too much. At the end of the day, it's one puck battle in a game full of puck battles.
It's very situational when they matter.
Well, I was just going to say, but in the situation or the context of Game 1, John Tavares 3 offensive zone power play face-off wins against Claude Giroux, the best face-off guy in the league, and those 3 face-off wins result within 10 seconds in a Leafs goal. Like, just phenomenal stuff for Tavares, and like I said, like, face-offs maybe generally overrated, but like if situation dependent, they can actually be maybe underrated. Tavares is just so interesting, right? Because, like, if you take away the $11 million price tag, and I guess we can do that in the playoffs, really, the guy's full marks for a strong second-line center on a contending team. And I would argue, in terms of having hands at the net front, he's, top 5 in the league? Like, he's so strong on his skates. He's got, that maneuverability, and he showed that off in Game 1. And he was, it's only one game. There's a lot of players to pick for this type of answer, but there was something about Tavares' performance that really just jumped off the page for me.
Yeah, he's been incredible, and I think been probably one of the most consistent players in Toronto all season long. Levi, player impressed you?
Yeah, we already kind of went over my guy, but it's Mark Scheifele. You look at, I think the biggest thing to me and the question mark I think many people had is like, this is a very top-heavy team, especially on offense. Can they keep carrying them in the playoffs, especially without Velarde and Ehlers? Like, they need goals from those top guys more than ever. Because, like, you look at the Jets, like, I like the makeup of their team, but they don't have, I don't know, Dallas has, like, Wyatt Johnson on the third line. The Jets just don't have that. And they because they get all their scoring from the top. And Mark Scheifele, we said 5 points, and the Jets have 7 goals in 2 games. Like, incredible stuff. And for them to make any sort of run this postseason, Connor Hellebuck's a big thing. But that first line and Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor firing on all cylinders has to happen. And it's not easy for any player, let alone a guy kind of a Mark Scheifele stature, to dominate in the playoffs. And that's exactly what he's done so far. He's just facilitating everything for Winnipeg exactly when they need him to. So, he's really stood out to me.
It's been super impressive, his play. Like, not just the goal scoring, but particularly the playmaking, like his assist in Game 1 on that Kyle Connor game winner.
When he went around the net, that set play.
Yeah, exactly.
Magic.
You think about the behind the net setup to Iafallo as well in that Game 1. Like, he's just doing so much in the offensive zone, where the criticisms of him over his career have been, sure, he's a good offensive player, but gives it back defensively, and what is the commitment level there. And he's just really leveled up in these first couple of games. Really impressive stuff.
Facilitate was a really good word by Levi there. Just like the maestro on that offense right now. And, I guess we'll see if it continues, but there's no reason not to believe in him and Connor. Like, they've been electric so far.
100%. And Winnipeg has proven everybody that they're not going to be putting up the same performance they did last year in the playoffs.
Certainly
at least.
not.
Well, we'll see what happens as the series goes back to St. Louis. One more player, Kyle, who you got?
Yeah, some guy called Connor McDavid. I don't know if you guys have heard of him before. Look, it's kind of an obvious pick when you think of the name Connor McDavid, but I do think it's worth kind of pointing out here just his outrageous performance Monday night, where they're down 4-0, end of the second period. I think a lot of teams and even some offensive heavy star players would probably pack up shop for that game, especially on away ice, and go, okay, we're going to reset for game 2. And instead, he has that great shift, just completely dancing past Anze Kopitar, a multi-time Selke Trophy winner, dusting him and finding Draisaitl. And that goal sparks a comeback in that third period where he has the 3 primary assists, obviously the one on Draisaitl there, 2 in that third period, and then just an outrageous goal to tie things up. And look, obviously the focus is on the Oilers ultimately blowing that game still and losing. But we talk about star power in hockey and how it maybe means less than some other sports. Performances like Monday night and what we saw from Connor McDavid, and even just kind of his history against the Kings and him and Draisaitl just terrorizing that team in the playoffs and getting through the first round. A lot of the talk coming into the series, we all picked the Kings here, is that sure, the Oilers have McDavid and Draisaitl, but can they do it again against another better Kings team? And Monday night showed to me that it is not going to be easy for the Kings to overcome it, because no matter what the score is, Connor McDavid is an absolute animal when it comes to these playoff series, and especially against Los Angeles. And it kind of, we talk about the Oilers never being out of a game with Connor McDavid and Draisaitl, but we say that. But do we really mean it all the time when it's a 4-0 game going to the end of the second period? Like, it's one thing to say it like they're never out of it, but when you see it actually in action and those two go to work, and specifically McDavid, the 3 primary assists and the goal in the 5 goals that they scored in that game, all coming basically in the final 21 minutes of that game. Those are the star level performances that we want to see in the playoffs. We want to see from these players, and whether the Oilers are able to pull off this series victory again against the Kings or not, those are the kind of things that we want to see in the playoffs from star players.
The one thing that the Oilers definitely need is, one, to not lose the penalty battle like they did. Like, they need to be the team that's getting more power plays. But 2, they need Matisz Ekholm to get healthy, because, oh my gosh, they are shocking defensively. Even that final goal, like, yes, it was a knuckle puck that beat Skinner, but, like, what is Bouchard doing going for a whack at the puck when it's getting, like, just drives me crazy watching it, because he's so good offensively, Evan Bouchard. But the reason he's so good offensively is because he knows he's Matisz Ekholm backing him up. When he doesn't, like, it's just such a loss. It's so evident with that team. And they can score that 5 goals, even strength, easy. Yeah. They can come back any game, but with the way they're playing in their own end and giving up chances, and the way the goaltending's been for them all year long, as much as they can come back from any deficit, they could give up any lead, because they are just I don't know. They've got a lot.
They're going to have to start scoring 10 goals if they really want to win.
And hey, I got to say, I am here for a throwback 80 series where we get 6-5 games throughout.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I would love that.
You know, the LA Kings are like happy about the win, but we can't do that again. Yeah. We can't turn this into a
track meet.
At all. And
it's like, let's focus on the first 39 minutes and not the last 21.
Honestly.
Well, and to Kyle's point, like, I feel like McDavid does this like every year, but he just reminds us that he's in his own tier. Like, as much as McKinnon will have this crazy year, Kucherov, Matthews, whoever, it's like, when it comes down to it, on a single game basis, you are picking Connor McDavid as your first overall pick 10 times out of 10.
I was going to say 9.
I don't know where the 9 came from. 11 out of 10.
Yeah, there we go. That's more like
it. It's just the way that he winds up and can control a game. It's just no one even touches.
And particularly the stuff that impressed me on Monday night was the way that he was able to shake some of the best defensive players in the NHL. Like I mentioned, the Kopitar one, another one of those assists. I think it was the Perry goal. He has Vladislav Gavrikov all over his back, draws the penalty in the process. That's a 6'3", 220 arguably best defensive defenseman in the NHL, on his back, and he's like, okay, no big deal. I'll saucer this across to Corey Perry, who puts it in the back of the net. Like, it's silly.
Is a different animal. And we talked about it pre-show. I want to do quick little show of hands here.
Oh, God.
Season ends right before the draft. You're the Toronto Maple Leafs. You're Brad Treliving. You get an offer from the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid for the signing rights to Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews. Do you say yes to that deal?
I do.
You say yes to it, Levi?
Not yet, but I can see. I can see.
What more does he have to prove?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What are you looking for?
I can see the vision.
Matisz?
Absolutely, you do it. But why would Jeff Jackson even have that thought?
That doesn't matter. That
okay,
doesn't
if it doesn't matter,
No.
yes, Brad Treliving pulls the trigger. On that,
And it's crazy because you're talking
It's
about
Davo.
You're
Like-
talking about 2 top 10 forwards in the league, and I still think the number 1 guy is worth more than that. And that is just speaks, and that's not shade to Matthews or Marner. They've had great games in Game 1 too, and they could have great playoff runs here. Who knows? But just McDavid is just another.
He's
animal.
so one of one.
He's just he's different beast out there. I'm really excited to see that series and watch how that goes. I think there could be a lot of goals scored in that series, and all those crazy records McDavid broke last year. He can go on another run. He could just go and break it again. But we are going to change the pace now and get into some top shelf trivia.
Welcome into Stanley Cup Playoff Jeopardy. Guys, I am fired up to run this. We haven't done a Jeopardy before, but I'll give you the quick rundown here. 5 categories, okay? We've got general cup knowledge, cup winners by nationality, missing team, Conn Smythe winners, name that hero. A lot of this stuff leans more towards recent hockey history,
okay,
so
good
it should
to know.
play into a little bit of recency bias here. But yeah, I mean, we're going to do it a little bit different than Standard Jeopardy. We don't have the buzzers out. That might get a little bit hectic. So we're going to let you guys each pick a category, go through it, you get it right or wrong. It's going to go to the next guy regardless. But we've got the whole money totals here. I'll be subtracting, hopefully not too much, and adding and stuff. So I'm excited to get into this. I'll let you start, Kyle. Start on my left, and we'll go around. You get your first pick of the litter here, wherever you want to go on the board. Where are you starting?
Alrighty, I want to kick things off with the Conn Smythe winners. I'll go conservative with 100.
Okay,
Start
playing it
off.
safe to start. Conn Smythe winners.
I want to
for
give
Kyle.
you guys a chance here. Come on.
It's true. All right, the 2019 St. Louis Blues.
St.
Louis Blues. Who won the Conn Smythe?
That would be Ryan O'Reilly.
Ryan O'Reilly.
Tap in.
Cha-ching.
Hey, it's $100
That's
here.
correct.
Come on.
Supposed to be
100
tap
big
in,
ones
yes.
for Kyle. All right, so we're gonna move to Aidan now. You get your next pick.
Yeah, I want a little bit more cash than he picked up on his, but I'm gonna stick in that Conn Smythe for 200.
Conn Smythe for 200. 2023 Vegas Golden Knights. Do you have the answer?
It was Jonathan Marchessault.
Jonathan Marchessault. He's correct. That one kind of a little bit.
There's a lot of people up for grabs for that one.
Yeah,
Some people
yeah.
thought it'd be Eichel, Aidan Hill.
You look at the some of the other names on that Conn Smythe list. He doesn't exactly fit in, but it was a good run. All right, 200 for Aidan, 100 for Kyle. You go to John.
500 Conn Smythe.
Hey, get
All
the
right,
bag.
John's blowing the top off here. Let's see. 2011 Boston Bruins. Do you
is
know
either-
who won the Conn Smythe that year?
So we got Tim Thomas, Zdeno Chara, Patrice Bergeron. I feel like there might be like a dark horse guy that I'm missing, but I think it's Tim Thomas.
Tim Thomas. On the money, John.
Let's
go.
Nicely done. Took down the 500 category. That's big. All right, so early lead here for John after he took the big one
that's
down.
good context on how challenging the 500 ones are going to be. Because I was thinking 500 Conn Smythe, you're going to be throwing an 82 at me. And I was like,
No. I kept it a little bit conservative, so we're fine there. All right, we go to you.
All right, well, let's continue on here. We'll go 400 for Conn Smythe.
Conn Smythe, all right, knocking the whole category out. The 2014 LA Kings.
I believe this is the year that Justin Williams got it.
That's correct.
Nice.
This is
Nice.
the year Justin Williams took it down. He had a legacy
Game
run.
7.
Mr. Game 7 himself. Nicely done. All right, Kyle, tied with John now.
yeah, why don't we just finish off this category?
There we go.
Riping through the
Conn Smythe,
category.
boy.
All right.
09 Pens.
09 Pens.
That is... Okay, that's their first one. Was it Fleury or Squid? Sid. It's got to be Sid.
Sidney Crosby.
Yeah.
We have our first subtraction of the game. That's
Ooh.
incorrect. It goes to John now.
Malkin.
Wow.
Let's go.
Yeah, Gino.
Danny
That
Malkin.
was a big run for Gino.
That was tough. That should have been the 500.
Conn
to be
Smythe.
honest.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Little shame.
Already criticizing the boardmaster.
Sorry, Trebek.
I agree. That one should have been...
Knock some points off over there.
Yeah,
Come
he's
on.
subtracting from John. If getting out, I mean, if that should be the 500 and John got the 500, he's
Hey,
just
there you go.
he's going to dominate. It looks like a little bit of
Killing it.
foreshadowing. Nicely done. All right, so back to you, John. You get to double up on your points now.
That's
That was-
right.
That was Aidan's. No more Conn Smythe. You guys got to go somewhere else. Where are we thinking?
I'm gonna get cocky here and go name that hero 500.
Name that hero 500. So you no idea what this looks like.
That's bold.
Untapped. Not all of them are just going to be typed out like that, which includes this one. Name that hero. Who scored this goal, John? Get you a bit of a zoom there.
Oh, I got it.
So it's Vancouver scoring on San Jose. It looks like the Sedin era. Was it Kessler? Was it Burrows? Was it one of the Sedins? It's probably one of the Sedins because that would make it difficult to pick one of them. I don't know exactly what. Okay, second OT.
Do you know it?
9 seconds.
I
I know.
I'm gonna go with Burrows.
Alex Burrows is incorrect. Kyle.
I believe this is a knuckler from the point,
Oh.
Kevin Bieksa.
Yeah.
Kevin
Wow.
This
Bieksa
is the
is
one that went off
correct.
the stanchion. Nobody knew where the
Yeah,
puck was.
yeah.
Nobody knew where the puck
I
was.
wouldn't have guessed that either.
The rest of this
Yeah.
category, you'll see, I actually have the players covered. I didn't even need to
Yeah,
do it for this one.
exactly.
He's off
He's
the
not
screen.
even in the screen.
Nicely done, Kyle, though. That's a big steal. 500 big ones
Yeah,
there.
I'll
And
take that
there's-
steal.
You got a different frame of it here. But,
Nice.
yeah,
My
that was
wrist
a
flew up
classic
in my
goal.
face.
That sent them to the cup, I believe, right? Was
I-
that conference finals?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure.
I think so.
Think so.
There you go. Back from that legacy 2011 run. All right, we go to Kyle now. You have the chance to double up.
Let's go. Cup winners by nationality for 200.
All right.
Mix up the board a little
All
bit
right.
here.
So this is something we've seen before, as I said. Oh, man, that's tiny. How do I zoom that out?
That's okay.
You can still see that. Which Stanley Cup winning team is this based on the nationality of their first line?
I think this is the Washington Capitals.
Washington
Such a good
Capitals
Yep.
is correct.
Nice.
Nicely done. Yeah, you've got
Ovi Kuznetsov, Holtby, and Net.
correct.
Those were the ones.
Who's
I
on
was
the right
looking
wing
at.
there? Wasn't Wilson then, was it?
Wilson, yeah.
Yeah?
Was it?
Think-
I had
yeah,
Wilson
yeah.
down, and then who's
Carlson?
John Carlson,
Carlson
maybe?
and they had a gritty defense.
Was the
Or Brooks Orpik?
No,
no,
think
no,
he's
it's
American.
post that.
I think it starts with a D. Was it Duhane?
No. Anyways, but yeah.
Anyways,
those
it's
guys,
the
yeah.
Capitals.
Or was it Niskanen? I don't know.
I don't
He's
remember.
American too.
It's
Anyways.
the Capitals. Nicely done,
We'll
Kyle.
trust that that's
I
good.
probably should be the one that remembers that stuff. But that's all right. All right, go to you, Aidan.
Yeah, let's go to name that hero again for 400.
All right,
Nice
back to
points.
name that here. We're going top down on this category. I like it. Who scored this goal?
Okay, I gotta zoom in hard
Nice.
on. That
Oh,
is
that's obvious.
Ooh.
Chicago, Boston.
I thought Bieksa was obvious.
Oh my gosh, that's obvious. I can't even.
You need me to zoom back in?
See. Chicago.
Some good
Oh yes,
context
Dave
clues.
Bolin. Yeah.
Dave Boland's correct.
big goal.
Nicely done.
Big goal
Needed
by
the
Bolin.
big zoom, but he got it.
Well, okay, I was
Dave
trying to figure out what
Bolin.
goal, like which team was scoring in the photo.
It,
that
it
was
looks
my-
like Boston scoring
Yeah.
there.
It does kind of look like they scored. Yeah, that was Dave Boland. They scored two and
Nice.
like
back to
Yeah,
back
yeah.
out of nowhere to
won
keep
the cup.
Keep it alive.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. All right,
Guys.
good pickup for Aidan there. We go to you, John.
General Cup knowledge for 300.
All right, General Cup knowledge. Only 5 teams have never made it to a Stanley Cup Finals: the Kraken, the Coyotes, the Jackets, the Jets, and who?
I mean, does Utah count here?
That's the
Coyotes. Yeah, I merged it. sorry.
Okay, so we're merging those.
That
That's an
doesn't count
important
as a guess. I'll let you
bit
keep
of
going.
context there. This is actually harder than I thought. Who's been really bad for a long time?
Yeah.
I think so.
I have a
Five-
guess.
5
I have a
seconds
guess.
on
I
timer?
think it's right, but I don't know for sure.
I was gonna say the Predators, but they've been there. Oh no, Ottawa's been there. Islanders have obviously been there.
I'll give you. Yeah, I'll give you.
Islanders
5
would have been a crazy guess.
Yeah, it would have been wild.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw someone out there. All the obvious ones are there. Oh, no, that's obviously
you
not.
gotta throw something out now.
Yeah, you gotta give it.
I'm just gonna throw out the first team that comes to mind.
The Toronto Maple Leafs.
The Calgary Flames. That's wrong.
Calgary Flames incorrect. Kyle.
I think it's the Minnesota Wild.
Minnesota Wild. Minnesota Wild's correct.
Got to
They
be some
love the
fresh
second round,
teams
man.
there.
Very
I had the
nicely done.
Midwest in my head, but I'm like, no
Yeah.
St. Louis, no Nashville.
They're
I
just
couldn't
Minnesota's a
get to
very
Minnesota.
forgettable team. You
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
It's yeah.
They never got there. All right, nicely done, Kyle.
That was
Back to
nice.
you now.
All right, well, let's continue down the name that hero for 3.
Name that hero for 3. Who scored this goal? I feel like
That's double OT Ottawa Pittsburgh. So I think this one's Chris Kunitz.
Nice.
Chris Kunitz is correct. Little bar down.
I'm liking this
clapper.
one. This is a good
Yeah.
category.
Little
The
bar
goal
down
that
clapper.
put Ottawa into an 8-year rebuild.
Exactly.
That's it right here. Yeah, they were right there, knocking on the door. All right, Kyle is off to a very early lead.
All right.
Big time. Aidan, you're the next closest. Can you catch up? Let's see.
Yeah, I need to get some points here. I'm going to go
some big money on the
team
board
for 400.
Missing team for 400. All right.
Missing team.
Who's missing from this playoff picture?
Okay, so this is the 2023 playoffs.
That's correct.
So that would be Colorado takes down. That's
Nobody.
loses in the first round. They got upset in the first round by a wild card team, it would be assumed. And that wild card team, I'm running out of time here. I'm going to go with the St. Louis Blues.
St. Louis Blues, incorrect. John, do you have this one?
It's taking too long, so I had to go.
Okay, so Oilers are. Is it? No. I was gonna say the Canucks, but it's not. Is it the Jets?
Winnipeg Jets is incorrect. They are actually on the board. Kyle,
Oh, I didn't even notice.
last to you. I got to hand out some X's here.
I don't got a guess.
No guess. Do we penalize him for that?
Yeah, I'm saying, okay, if I can throw out a team, but I think it's wrong, but I would rather pass if there's no penalty.
What's the ruling here?
Whoa, I don't know. That's you're the game master.
It's wrong.
Man.
It's okay. I'll throw out a team.
I
I
think
know
it-
it's wrong,
I think you should.
but the only series that comes to mind is Stars Flames, so I'll throw out Calgary, but it's wrong.
It is not Calgary. This is, fellas, Seattle Kraken.
Oh, yeah.
Seattle Kraken, because I thought we were going to
Yeah.
have an all-expansion team matchup going on, but Dallas won
Man,
that
how
series.
shocking is it that Colorado lost that series behind
To the Kraken. Crazy series. That was
Totally
only 2
forgot
years
the
ago.
Kraken went to the second
All
round.
right, everyone swung and missed there. Who picked that one?
That was me,
That was
so it's
Aidan.
on to John.
On to John.
Minus 400. Let's get back to even here. I think I might be out of this race already. but
There's a lot of money on the board.
Well, if we play with that rule too, where you have to guess every time, this could get very
I
interesting.
like that.
right. Cup winners by nationality 400.
400. All right. Which Stanley Cup winning team is this based on the nationality of their first line?
Big geography play.
Yes.
So I think it's the Blackhawks. Actually, maybe not, because Crawford would have been in net, and he's Canadian. Because Hossa is the guy I was thinking of. I'm going to go with the 2014 Kings.
2014 Kings is correct.
Nice.
Nicely done. How'd you get that?
I would thought Doughty, Quick, and then I couldn't
What
tell.
about Slovenia?
Yeah, or Slovakia.
Yeah, what's going on with Kopitar? That's what I was
That
confused
is
by.
that is the
Okay,
Slovenian
okay.
flag. I
Slovenia
was like,
flag,
that's the
yeah.
obvious.
Well,
one
I don't know
there,
what
yeah.
their flag looks like. I'm like, what is that flag? So-
Okay, and then
fair enough.
yeah,
Wow.
Mary.
I got it.
on your
I got it.
geography.
I got
You
it.
got it.
Marian
You got it.
Gabrick
You
up
got
there
that.
on the top
Yeah,
line.
Marian Gabrick. the
Hossa
Slovak.
went in my head right away.
Yeah.
That was a good one. All right, nicely done. John's back to even. Aidan's still below even. Go to Kyle here.
We'll go hero for 200.
Name that here for 200. Back to this category. Who scored this goal?
Recently retired Alec Martinez.
That's correct.
quick.
That is correct. Baby food for Kyle there. Yeah, you just called
Cup
it
winning
fix.
double overtime goal. If you don't got that in your bag,
Hard-
you should
yeah.
probably get
Hard
out of the
to miss that.
studio for me.
Aidan.
Yeah, I think let's try this missing team thing again for 300.
All right, back to missing team. He wants another crack at
Usually
it.
pretty good at these.
Wants another crack at it. Who is missing from this playoff picture?
I'm like looking for
Top
okay,
right.
beats Boston in the first round. Atlantic Division team, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Tampa Bay Lightning. I can't remember this answer, guys.
I think it's correct.
I feel like
right?
it's got to be correct.
I don't think it is.
Really?
They
I
didn't
think
make the
because
playoffs?
they went to a
remember.
conference finals early on in their like
I'm
kind of
completely blanking
era
on
of
this
this
answer.
team.
So this
like
is
in
2017.
2017. They went to the conference
Oh
finals.
no, it's not.
Oh wait,
incorrect.
no, it isn't. I know actually know who it is.
On to John.
They went to the conference finals. Oh, stupid!
On
I
to
know
John.
exactly who it is. I know exactly who it is.
We should all know who it is.
Nonsense.
Oh, it's Ottawa.
Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second.
Relates to another
yeah,
guy.
like
Yeah, we
stupid.
did.
Oh.
I had Tampa. I would have guessed Tampa.
Was
too.
it the when did Tampa go to the? Was it before this in like 2014? They went to the conference
15.
finals.
Against,
They had a
against New
few.
York.
They had a
Gotcha.
few runs. Yes, this is the Ottawa Senators. We just talked about it. I wasn't planning for
That's so funny.
those to be so interchangeable like
Wow,
that,
I am
but
getting smoked.
yeah,
right
Aiden's
now.
getting it handed to him right now. Go to you, John. You're in the green now. You're catching up already.
I'll go with nationality for 500.
Ooh.
Cup winners by nationality,
Big one.
500. Which Stanley Cup winning team is this?
Swedish. Very Swedish.
This has got to be the Red Wings, right? You got Lidstrom, Zetterberg, although I don't know. How far, like, is this going back just to 2000s or like, you said it was recent stuff, right?
This is a 500 one, so could go back.
2000 and did they win 2008? Yeah, 2008 Red Wings.
Correct.
Nice.
Nicely done. I was getting concerned. You named half the players in this photo, and you're about to.
And I'm still doubting it.
Yeah, you got Datsuk, Zetterberg, Holmstrom, Lidstrom. I think Rafalski was back there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then Chris Osgood and net. Nicely done, John.
All right.
Just
Bravo.
narrowing the lead. Look at that. Go to you, Kyle. Need a big hit.
I like this category, so I'm going to clean it out. Hero for 100.
Hero for 100. Should be a layup based on that last one. Who scored this goal?
That would be, I can't see it entirely, but that's Patty Kane. Yeah.
Patty Kane. Patty Kane. A little bit of.
the cup-winning goal that no one knew.
Assisted
Went in.
by Strathroy legend Brian Campbell.
There you go.
There you go. Even bigger tidbit
Hometown
there.
shout out.
Okay,
Nicely done. All right, Aidan.
Even though I missed it on the
At this
Sabres all
point,
time.
pure desperation mode.
You have to go big,
Pure
right?
Yeah.
desperation
Big or
mode.
go home.
And you know what? If I missed missing team 3 and 4, I got to get the 5. So give me the 5.
Missing team for 500. Aidan taking his third swing at it. Who is missing? Nobody's missing from this.
Nobody's missing. Quality. All right.
We'll give him the 500.
Give me the 500.
You did great there, Aiden.
I think that's impressive. That's
Yeah, you
impressive.
forgot to
Paul.
cover that one.
Do you remember which one it
That's
was
the
supposed
daily
to be?
double.
It was Phoenix
was the
Coyotes.
Yeah,
Coyote.
that's the
Oh,
daily
Oh, I
double.
totally would have not have got that either. There's no chance.
No, give it to him.
Coyotes
don't
Daily
bar?
double.
That's
There we go.
Quality.
I can't. Oh man, that's so disappointing. That was a 500 one.
Yeah,
I was
you're
That's
excited
a
about that
lifeline.
one,
That's
yeah.
a
Oh
lifeline.
yeah, we'll give it to Aidan. He's
Yeah,
still in the game.
Oh, that rocks.
He's still in
Big
the
Look at
Coyotes
it.
guy.
Big one for me there, right? Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
That's so funny.
We go to John.
Here you go, John.
God, man, I was excited for that one.
Let's go the nationality for 300.
Nationality for 300. Which Stanley Cup winning team is this?
Okay, we've got a Finn. Oh. My mind goes to the Avalanche because of Rantanen. Who is it?
It's the Avs, man. You can just throw it out there.
2023 or 2? 2023 Avalanche? 2022 Avalanche?
I'm going to give it to you because there's only one cup winning
Okay,
team that
I'll
could be
take
a
it.
potential here. It's the Avalanche 2022. Nicely done.
Gabe Landeskog
I'm so
on that
bad at
top line.
remembering.
Landeskog,
exact-
a lot of Canadians there. Nice to see. All right, John keeps narrowing that lead. We go back to Kyle. He's got to keep scoring here. To keep
Let's
us
go general knowledge for 200.
General knowledge 200. Which non-original 6 team or teams has the most Stanley Cups? There's 2 of them. You just need one.
I'm going to go the dynasty play and say the New York Islanders.
The New York Islanders is incorrect. Doors open. Aidan?
I'm going to go with no, I don't know if they do. How many? Actually, okay, so Islanders won 4 straight, and that's all they got. Oilers, they didn't win 5 with Gretzky, did they? Or did they? I'm trying to think. Oilers, I think, won a bunch with Gretzky. The Lightning have a bunch. The Avs have a handful, but I'm going to go with the Oilers.
Oilers is correct.
Yeah.
And there's a team that nobody wanted to mention, the Penguins.
Penguins.
I was going to.
Oilers and Pens both with 5. Nice, Aidan. Aidan's
Needed that
climbing
little
a little bit.
quiet,
I
needed
mean,
that.
he did get a little bit of a handout. but
Oilers got that
that's fine.
post-Gretzky one.
Yes.
That's-
They just got that one.
General Cup champs, I'll go with for 500.
General for 500?
Yeah, I need these
Last
points.
500.
man.
All right,
Let's go.
we're going big.
Yeah.
Last 500 on the board. Hopefully, this is a question, not an answer. Which active player has the most Stanley Cup Finals games played?
Okay, let's think. So Sid's been to 3. Pens have been to 3. Lightning have been to 2. Panthers have been to 2. Just trying to think of a player that's been around. Ooh, guy that was on a bunch of teams. What about that little Pat Maroon action? Does that count? 'Cause
Is he
Brady
still
Is
active?
he technically still active? Is another story. Fleury didn't play a lot of games with Vegas, and he didn't play all of them with Pittsburgh. I feel like for 500, it's not going to be Sidney Crosby, right? That would seems like a little dumb, but it's also not going to be Pat Maroon because that's just like everybody. You know who it is? It's Corey Perry.
Corey Perry, final answer?
Final answer, Corey Perry.
Yeah.
Very
Dude,
nice.
such a good answer.
Very
Well,
nicely
He had
done.
the Montreal.
Montreal,
but he
Tampa,
went-
and then he
he
also
won
won one.
early.
in
Ducks
Anaheim,
early.
too.
He's
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
I didn't have him on my brain,
Yeah,
but right when you
there's-
said it, I'm like, that's the guy.
Well, it's because
Corey Perry.
Maroon won 3 straight, Perry lost 3 straight,
Yeah.
right? And then also you tack on 1 extra series.
Yeah.
That's 4.
I was thinking
Stanley Cup final
Hedman
series.
because I think he's been to 4.
Mm.
Because
4?
they lost in 15 and then went to 3 straight.
Yes.
Yeah, so probably pretty close. They might have just had a shorter series by a game or 2.
Corey Perry. Nicely done. Aidan. He's right back
Good
there. He's
job.
tied with John. Only 400 back.
How? I wonder how he did
Back-to-back 500s, man.
We go to John for the next one. We're
I'm
getting
gonna go big or big go home here. General Cup
Okay.
knowledge 400.
General Cup knowledge for 400, John. Which team has the most Stanley Cup Finals appearances without winning?
I feel like I should know this because it's probably eating at their.
Is it the
fan
Buffalo
base.
Bills?
That's,
Nope.
that's
not.
such a tough. Just
Crazy stray for them.
yeah,
Yeah.
no kidding.
15 seconds on the timer. I'm going to be strict with the timer on this one.
Do, 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 do,
5,
do, 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 do.
3. This is make or break, John.
I'm just gonna throw a dart at the board and say the San Jose Sharks
San Jose Sharks
is wrong.
is incorrect.
Do you like that guess? How many have they been to? 1? Just 1?
They've been to 1. Yeah. I think
There's
so.
got to be a team out there that's got like 3
think
or
so,
4.
1.
I can only think of a team that has 2.
3.
I can only think
3
of
is
a
the
team that
number.
has 2 as well, so that doesn't help.
this could be fun
unless
for
there's
you
one
if we
I'm
all miss.
forgetting. I can only think of 2 for the Canucks.
Vancouver Canucks is correct, Kyle.
Oh, it
man.
is 3. Okay.
Three.
Have 3.
94, 2011.
I think a little bit earlier.
Oh, okay, nice.
They've got
Orchard
3.
fan base.
Wow, I mean
That's
that
a big one for
that,
Kyle.
that-
I might-
what a
I might just
swing!
That was
steal it.
big.
What a
Yeah.
swing! And now you get your pick of the litter here, Kyle. Yeah, I don't think they're trying to come back now with the numbers on the board.
I was getting a little nervous
think Aidan
after
would have
my
the sweep
Islanders
here.
pull.
Yeah.
But
My
let's
math is
go general knowledge for 100.
General knowledge for 100. Which team has the most Stanley Cups, and how many do they have?
The Canadians, and they have 24.
Which is just a wild.
Incorrect.
Oh,
Isn't it 26? I don't know.
That's incorrect as
Laughs
well.
at you.
John?
I thought it was 24 too. It's definitely the Habs. Is it lower? Are we getting? Is it 14 instead of 24?
No,
Is it?
no, it's
Is
way
it
more than
16?
that. No, it's
All right. Well, if we're gonna stay in the 20s, 20. I thought it was 24.
20 is incorrect as well.
21
Wow.
or 25?
23.
23.
Man, how many low 20s numbers?
Did they get one
did I
taken
set
away?
just now?
Yeah, I
There
thought
you
it was
go.
24 too, and then I looked this up. That's the number I got. So I don't-
Okay.
is that a little
Well, if it's
bit
wrong,
of
I don't
if
know.
it's wrong, Kyle's still
Mandela?
gonna win.
Yeah,
anyway,
the guy's
so it
gonna
doesn't
win.
really
I don't
matter.
know.
But let's
Uh,
finish off this board.
yeah, let's wrap things up here.
Yeah, give me the missing team for 200.
Missing team 200.
I do need to actually secure.
You've
one
been
of
the
these.
only guy that's gone to
Shoot,
this
I have-
category.
the brackets scare me a lot.
This is the COVID year.
Oh, jeez.
Right?
Weird year.
So nobody was watching that Minnesota first round series,
No.
whoever they played. But it was the Dallas Stars, right?
Dallas Stars final
Yeah.
answer?
Yeah, they had to be in the playoffs. So
Incorrect.
Oh my God.
Just losing
how
points
did
here
I
late.
thought they were one of the top.
I
4
do.
teams.
I
You
do
got
got
like a
this
thing.
one in my bag.
Kyle's got it if
No.
you don't have it, John.
Oh no, I do. Oh, shoot, I know it.
Okay, St. Louis is already on there.
I think at least.
Yeah, they were a big upset. They shouldn't have even been in the playoffs, but they were.
Winnipeg's already on there.
Also, how about
Minnesota.
3 Eastern teams there in the conference finals?
Yeah, it's so awesome to see.
Who am I missing here?
The Islanders.
What a weird year.
The Islanders had a run this year?
Also,
I'm just gonna pass. It's not coming.
Can we
Pass.
blank off that first round, by the way?
Yeah.
There's
Yes,
some
we
trauma
can.
coming up.
Trauma.
Kyle, do you have it?
Golden Knights.
Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Duh.
Vegas Golden Knights against the Habs. What an
Arturi Lehkonen
insane
with the
conference
series-winning
finals.
Conference final goal, I think.
Yeah, he did have that.
Producer interjection here. The Habs have won 24 cups, but only 23 since the founding of the NHL.
Okay.
Okay.
Right,
A
so-
technicality.
Okay.
Because that 24 did feel like something
Yeah.
felt right about it.
That's what
Uh,
people say. Like,
Appreciate the
generally.
You know
producer
what?
interjection
Yeah,
from
producer
Adrian.
interjection there.
Uh,
24 would be.
Unfortunately, you guys
We all lost the
you
same
all
amount.
lost the
Yeah.
point
we all lost
anyways.
twice.
We all got dogs.
We go to
John.
Aiden misses another missing team.
Let's do the nationality one.
Cup winners by nationality. Last one here. Which Stanley Cup winning team is this based on their first line?
So I'm going by goalie. Oh, this is the Panthers of last year.
This is the Panthers of last year. Nicely done. Last one on the board. Kyle, you get it. Who's missing? from this.
Oh, another
picture.
Leaf.
Yeah, the Leafs have been on pretty much every single one of these, haven't they?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, how about that?
They keep losing.
So that would be the 2013 Bruins.
Yep.
This is correct. That's the 2013 Bruins. Where's
Because
Kyle?
that's like the only time in my lifetime that they made the playoffs with that logo.
Wait,
That's true.
Just really quick question though. That Boston-Toronto series, what was the score in the third period again?
Yeah. Doesn't ring a bell.
I don't know if I've ever seen
know.
somebody
I don't
post
know.
anything about
I
that.
don't know.
like
The
probably-
fact that I remember the date that it happened is maybe not a good sign.
Yeah.
It was like one of the more forgettable series, I think.
Yeah, not too memorable.
We're through the board.
Yeah, no.
But do you guys know how double factile works?
Absolutely not.
Ooh.
No.
No idea.
Or not double factile, sorry. Final factile is
Okay.
what we're looking for.
Gotta place your wagers here,
You get to
gents.
place your wagers. I can.
I'll put it all on the line. I don't know what I got, but whatever.
Aiden's all in.
I'm all in too. I mean,
800 for Aiden, 500 for John. Kyle, how are you going to play this? This is
All
where
in, baby.
All
Kyle's
in.
going all in.
He loves it.
Incredible. All right, the
I think
wagers
Wendy's
are
just
in.
gonna absolutely clean up.
The
If I
wagers
lose,
are
I'm
in.
gonna be
Yeah,
distraught.
this could be crazy. How heavy
Oh god.
in pounds? is the
36.
Stanley Cup.
No. 34.
2 pound range.
Who's
Everyone gets a guess
Yeah.
here.
Everyone,
Jeez.
I'm
you
just putting mine out there.
you come to your own answer. You've got 30 seconds on the clock. Come to your own answer here.
Okay.
That's how we're deciding it. We can't have any.
I'm just trying to remember in NHL the video game when you won the cup and the guy hosted it. It was like, these guys are battered and they're hosting this weight above their head. It was like NHL 14. It's the same thing every time you win the cup. They'd always say that.
10 seconds left.
celebration thing For like 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean? They didn't
Can
update
I put my number?
You guys
out?
have your numbers?
I think I got my
All right,
locked
we'll
in.
go left to right again.
Oh, okay.
Kyle,
I'm going to go 41.
41 pounds. Aiden,
I'm going to go 35.
35. John,
33.
33. So
Ooh.
I'm giving you guys a 2 pound range either way.
Okay. It is.
Kyle's incorrect.
Oh!
John's incorrect. Aiden is correct.
No way!
37 pounds,
Oh.
Lord Stanley's weight. And just like that,
All that NHL.
Kyle put it all on the line, and
Here he
Aiden
goes.
comes home with the victory.
Oh,
What a
no.
win.
This
Right
one's
down
not
What a
the wire.
historic fumble.
Yeah, you
They
Kyle,
say
you could have
after-
just
after
wagered
the playoffs,
100
it
there.
feels like nothing, though.
Yeah.
Feels like
Yeah.
feels like you're racing this guy right here.
You can officially touch the cup, but that was fun, guys. I love
That was good.
Love a good game of Jeopardy. We got the whole last felt like what 15, 20 years covered there. So
Yeah.
very, very nicely done by all our contestants. Everyone was in the positives at the end, which is always the best thing to see.
Zero
Yeah.
positive.
Props to Kyle for putting it all on the line.
Yeah.
No, not props to
me.
That
was-
is a lesson to teach your kids.
Yeah, exactly.
A bit of a showboat move there, just wanting $4,000, but
Well,
So then
I can't put in $100 after these
Yeah, then
guys
you
go
just
all
screw us
in.
over, yeah.
Right.
But no, that was a quality experiment there. I think I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed my dub. I do want my chain too, if you can send that over. But we got a busy week and weeks ahead with the NHL playoffs coming up, and I'm guess I'll get the chain next time. And I'll be wearing it the
Yeah,
whole show.
I'll have that for the next
But
one.
we're gonna be back around the studio doing some more top shelf coming at you, and we'll have some other fun things planned throughout the playoffs. But that's actually all the time we do have for today. For Levi Smith, Kyle Cushman, John Matisz, and myself, the winner, Team Aidan, Thakkar.
Okay.
We'll see you next time.